Hello everyone and welcome to another Wizard101 video. Today I'm going to be debating, more like just illustrating, the benefits and which one you should choose between damage or critical. Now obviously both are incredibly good. Damage ups your base amount of damage, so by a percentage unless you have damage. So for example, if if you do 200 damage, if you have 50%, if you have 50 damage, you will do 300 damage, which is actually really useful. It's one of the main ways that upper level wizards are stronger than lower levels. So for example, I'm just gonna hop on him for a second. My myth from the live myth walkthrough, he has 41% damage. Now, 41% damage at level 25 is insane, because 41% damage means that if I use, say, an enchanted bloodbat, that will do, say, 240 damage, right? That'll take that damage from 240 to 320 or so. And basically what that does is it makes it so that you can kill things a lot faster, which is why damage is an incredibly important stat. But so obviously you want to focus on damage a bit, at the very least. But another thing to focus on is critical. Now critical is unlocked at level 50 in Celestia. That's when you start getting critical gear. But you can technically unlock it at lower levels. Like if you have a critical pet, you can start criticaling at like level 1, you know. But critical, if you don't know, basically what it is there's a certain percentage you get from the crit stat. I don't know exactly what the percentage is because I am very bad at calculating it. All I know is that up until level 100, it is a static percentage. So that means that this 500 right now at level 107, the 54%, that was probably around 65% at level 100. And it will decrease every level up to 130 until it might just decrease until level 110, and then this will probably even out at about 50%. Now basically that means that at 130, 800 critical is 100%. 840, I believe, is how much you need for 100% critical. Now critical is obviously important to go for because critical is a guaranteed double damage. It makes it so that, like, say a sandstorm that would do 200 damage would do 400 damage, which means it is very important. But as this video implies, I'm arguing over damage and critical, which one you should go for. Now, there is no right answer to this. You can play however you want. For the longest time on my fire, I was going for damage. I had about 145 damage, 150 damage, and about 500 crit, which, actually I had a bit less than 500. I think I had 430, which was 30%, which isn't good, obviously. It's not that good at all. But, it meant that I crit every once in a while, which was a cool occurrence, but every other time I would do a guaranteed 140% more damage, which is a lot of damage. That means that, you know, something that does 100 damage would do 240, right? So a lot of people argue over which is more important. Now, I would argue from the levels of about 60 to 100, it is more beneficial to go for a balance between the two. So for example, my storm, if we go on my storm, he has 109 damage, which is pretty decent. That means everything will do at least double damage. Plus, he has 40% crit. That means that 4 out of every 10, 2 out of every 5 spells I cast will do double damage. So that means I have double damage plus another double 40% of the time. Now, I would like for my storm to have a little bit more crit. It would be nice. I want him to have, you know, closer to 50%, which is why I want the Headmaster Sky Staff. And you know, I'm wearing gear that is kind of more balanced towards it, which, you know, will give more crit over things to just kind of balance it out. Now, beyond that, though, once you reach level 100, this, as I've said, is for level 60 to 100. Once you reach level 100, what I would do is pick a specialization. So basically, you choose, do you want to have more damage or do you want to have more crit? Now, obviously, at level 130, you can have both. With the Dragoon gear, you can get up to 100% crit with about 150 damage, 160 damage, which is actually fantastic. My fire obviously isn't that good yet, but he'll get there eventually. But what I would recommend is picking what you want more, especially from levels 100 to 129. So for example, my fire, I picked damage because damage is useful because it's a guaranteed all the time you're going to do this amount of damage, which is good. But with crit, it's kind of more risk over reward, right? Because if you put more into crit and you don't have 100%, there's a chance that you won't do as much damage. So for example, if I tried to get 100 crit right now, 100% crit right now, I would probably have significantly less damage than I do, like significantly less, right? But that means that every time I crit, I'll do more damage than if I had focused on the damage gear. But if I don't crit, I won't do as much, right? So basically, it's like, do you want to risk it? And I would say that it's useful to, certainly. From levels 100 onwards, crit isn't as powerful because, as I said before, this would have been like 65% if I was below level 100. But it can be useful. I would like more crit on this character. Mainly through your pet is the best way because you can triple or quadruple crit on that, which is an extra 60 crit. 60 crit would take my character right now probably from 50% back up to like 60, almost 70%, right? 70% is more like 600, but you get the gist. Basically, what I'm saying is there isn't a right answer, but it all depends on what you want to do. I would say nowadays, I would prefer crit over damage, especially at a lower level from like level 60 to 100. I would focus on crit, getting gear that gives you crit, and so on and so forth. So for example, the Zigzag hat, it gives less overall stats, but the damage and crit is higher. So you should wear that over the waterworks, right? You can, things like the Sinbad Horde pack drop a wand that gives, you know, decent damage and decent crit. You know, it's all about what you want to do. So for example, like to put it into perspective, right? My balance has things focusing more on crit. I like crit and I want it. Sorry, I'm not making sense. I'm very tired right now. But for wands, the Skyrim Hasta is useful. But if you can afford crowns, to buy the crowns wands in between level 60 and 100, I would do it because the crit is very useful. So as I said on my storm, or as you saw on my storm, he has a wand that gives 12% damage and 40 crit. That's better than the Skyrim Hasta. That's decently better than the Skyrim Hasta, right? And once I reach level 80, I'll have one that's 14% damage and 71 crit, which is even more useful. That's an extra 30 crit, which would be an extra 10%, right? Plus the extra damage. So it is useful to buy horde packs, but you don't need it. Now, one thing I would like to mention, though, is if you would like to focus on crit, there is a very easy way to do it that involves packs, and that is the Harrowing Nightmare pack. The Harrowing Nightmare pack is really important because it has these guitars. These guitars are obviously, they're notorious. They're the best crit wands in the game. I think to this day they still give more crit than any other wand in the game, which is why it might be cool to focus on this. I'm sorry if this video was unstructured. I am very tired right now, but I had to crank out a video. Tomorrow won't be as bad. I'll probably put out a Let's Play series episode or something. But I hope this helped you. I hope that someone found something in this that was useful. They might have chosen to decide to focus on crit over damage, you know? So if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. Let me know. And I'll see you next Wizard101 video. Have a fantastic day. Thank you all for watching.